Oh, hi. This thing on? What's up, guys? Welcome back to another little Tech Tip Tuesday here. Today we're going to go over the steps that I take to super tune a bow. So we're going to take a bow from brand new out of the box and take it all the way up to where it'll shoot fixed blades, mechanicals, anything, bare shafts at any yardage and just be absolutely perfect. Alright, so the first step to super tuning a bow is take the bow out of the box, screw on any accessories that you want. This is when I just put on my wrist strap and stabilizer. Pretty simple. If you don't know how to do that, just go to your pro shop, okay? So next, I take the bow and I put it in my bow vise. When I put it in the bow vise, I make sure that the bow is perfectly plumb. So it's perfectly level vertically, and the left to right on it's perfect. The reason that I care about that is the next couple steps that I'm going to take really need the bow to be level in order to make sure that the other stuff that I'm putting on it are also level. So, step 2, put it in a bow vise and take the time to get it super level, okay? After that, I mount the bow rest and I mount the sight. Once I mount the rest on there, I make sure that the rest is perfectly level. On this Mathews Vertix, it has the integrated Mathews QAD rest here, so I don't have to worry about getting it perfectly level on the mounting bracket. I know that it's going to be mounted on there, but if you're not running this rest, you should be. If you're not and you're still not listening to me, then make sure it's level when you put it on. It's level here with the bowstring being perfectly level. Then I'm going to make sure that the arrow is running dead level, and I want the bottom of my arrow running through the center of the burger hole. The reason I like to run the bottom of the arrow through the center of the burger hole is that I've done enough shooting and tuning that I've found that with my draw length, which is 31 inches, that it just holds better on target. I also set my center shot at this point, so I set it at 13/16 on a Mathews perfect center shot. Check with your recommended settings on your bow if you're shooting a different brand, but I've found 13/16 to work pretty well on every brand, especially Mathews, Elite, and Hoyts all run great at 13/16. Then I'm going to tie my knock sets in. So I'll clip the arrow in, clip a knock in there, make sure it's perfectly level, tie my knock sets, verify the knock sets are perfect, and then I'll tie my D-loop. Once I mount the sight in the mounting holes, I make sure that the second axis adjustment is perfect. This is important because I want to make sure that when I'm adjusting the sight, sighting it in later, that this sight is running perfectly true up and down vertically. And I also want to know that when I'm sighting this bow in, I'm not canting the bow left or right because the bubble level's off. So it's important to get that in there correctly. Alright, now that I got everything set, I'm going to take the bow over to my draw board and I'm going to time my rest and attach the pull cord for the rest. I prefer to use a D-loop knot so that when I'm timing the cams in the next step, I don't have to worry about messing with it. And I like having that on there when I'm timing the cams. So once I've tied the D-loop knot on, I serve above it, and then I loosely tighten it down in the rest. So now I put the bow on my draw board and I'm going to time the rest. What I'm doing is I'm drawing the bow back and checking to see when this is going to hit in relation to when the cams hit. Okay? So now that I draw that back in there, I can see where it is, then I tighten it down a little before, and then verify that the rest is coming up just in that last inch of the draw cycle. Now that I've verified that, I tighten it down and I'm going to time the cams. So what I'm doing is I'm also looking in the draw board to make sure both cams are hitting at the same time when I'm drawing the bow. If a cam is not hitting at the same time as the other one, I want to look at the bow and figure out if I need to add twists or subtract twists. There are a lot of different factors you can look at in order to figure this out. I like to check first the axle to axle measurement and the brace height. So that will tell you if your bow needs to add twists or subtract twists. So now that I've timed the cams and made sure that they're both hitting exactly at the same time and verified that my rest is still hitting at the correct time, now I'm going to go shoot the bow through paper. And what I'm looking for is the adjustments that I need to make in order to get a perfect bullet hole. On these Mathews bows, what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the top hat system on the cam in the event that I don't get a perfect bullet hole through paper. 95% of the time when I'm shooting these bows and tuning them up, after I've made sure that the center shot's at 13/16 and the arrow's running where I like it and the cams are timed, I get a perfect bullet hole. But there have been a couple bows that I haven't gotten one on, and so that's when I'm going to start making adjustments to the top hat system on these bows. Mathews does an awesome job. It's super easy to adjust them. You just pop the axle out, change them around, make sure you're staying in the same level of the top hat system, and you're good to go. But I'm going to change those top hats around in order to get a perfect bullet hole if I have to. But I'm not going to touch my rest when I'm that close with the bare shaft. The reason I'm not doing that is because I know that the bow is at the proper center shot as long as it's at that 13/16. So if it is getting a tear, it's either the shooter, which of course it never is, or it's the bow, which it always is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make adjustments to the bow in order to get that perfect tear. Once I've gotten the perfect bullet hole with a bare shaft at 6 feet, I'll step back to 8 feet, shoot it again. Once I get a bullet hole there, now I'm going back to about 15 yards. The reason that I'm shooting at 15 yards is because that's the furthest shot I have in my basement. So once I'm shooting at 15 yards, I'm doing that with a fletched arrow. So I'm shooting through paper with a fletched arrow at 15 yards. When I get a tiny tear there, that's when I'm going to start making adjustments to the rest slightly. I'm talking about 32nd of an inch adjustments. A tiny bit goes a long way at 15 yards. And it's amazing to me how perfect of a hole I can get with a bare shaft at 6 feet and 8 feet and sometimes even 10 feet if I want to test myself, and then step back to 15 yards with a fletched arrow and I'll still get a right tear or a left tear just because the bow's not absolutely perfect. Now, this is not a point to get frustrated at. This is a good thing because this is what is working out the tiny little minute errors that are in the flight of that arrow that are robbing it of power and causing it to maybe not fly perfectly true when you have a broadhead on there. So make sure that you take the time to get that bullet hole up tight, and then make sure you take the time to tune it properly with that fletched arrow at 15 yards. Once you have a perfect bullet hole through paper at 15 yards or whatever distance you can shoot, you're done. That arrow is flying perfect. My next step is sight the bow in for the left and right. So I'm going to shoot a plumb bob at 15 yards with my fletched arrow and make tiny adjustments to the sight until I hit that string. Once you get that bow sighted in on your plumb bob string, you're pretty much done tuning. All you have to do is just go sight the bow in. I've been shooting these HHA sights for a while now. Really love them. They're so easy to sight in. You just get them dialed in at 20, then get them dialed in at 60, put the matching sight tape on, you're done. And you're just banging X's from 0 to 100 yards. It's really pretty cool. And now you're ready to go hunt. So I hope this video helped you guys. If you have any questions or if there's something that you'd like to see done in more detail, leave a comment below. Let me know what you'd like to figure out. I'm happy to help, and if you guys need, I can make a video that kind of details more specifically how to do those individual items. But this should get you started, get you going, and give you everything you need to know to start super tuning your bows and getting out there and killing some deer or whatever critters you're pursuing. So thanks for checking in. Always a pleasure to help you guys out with any archery stuff, and make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Got a lot of content coming your way this season from myself and my buddies, doing all urban hunts and getting out there year round. So make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss any of this action. Check it out, and make sure to leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. I'm used to hearing it all, so don't be bashful. Feel free to give me all the feedback you want. All right, thanks guys.